Do you like that?
Did you stabilize the table?
I did. Well, no, it's just
Wow.
like heavy. Go ahead. I think we're about to say the same thing. Welcome to the Game Garage. We've got another one here for you. It begins with a simple question. Do you like to keep a secret? Can you keep a secret? Have you played games with people who can't keep secrets? Like you ask them a question, you're like, so are you this? And they're like,
Like, what? All right.
and then some people are like really good liars, which makes you really wonder about those people,
Yeah,
you know?
yeah, it makes you kind of question your relationship with them.
Right. We're looking at the game Tortuga today.
This is a really unique one. We haven't reviewed a social deduction game yet. There's a number of them that we really like. There's a number of them that we
don't
really
like at
don't
all.
like. And I think that's kind of par for the course with social deduction games because they are very alienating. There seems to be kind of divides between who likes what kinds. So to give you a little bit of an idea of where we come from, I don't think either of us like Avalon.
No,
at all.
that's not
Like,
that's a bust for me.
It's a complete bust for me. However, we love Secret Hitler. Like
Yeah,
Secret
we
Hitler
do.
is
We do.
in
And
some of the best we've done.
Probably has some biggest wow moments
Yeah.
like ever.
And some of the most replayable games ever. I've probably played that just over and over so much.
Yeah, like 4, 5, 6, like the night is over.
Another one we really like is Dead Last, which
Yeah.
is kind of social deduction, hidden roles, a little more bluffing
But fast. I
yeah.
mean, it's just quick. I love that game, and that one builds on top of each other. We should review that one someday.
We should.
But that's not what we're reviewing today.
This one, however, is less social deduction, more hidden roles, and it's unique. So the basics of the game, it's classic. You've got a hidden loyalty. Everybody at the table has a hidden one.
Everybody gets to see
There's
it.
two teams that you can be part of. You can be part of the British team, or you can be a part of, so it's the British, and then yours would be
The
French. Those are all divvied out secretly. It's usually split even right down the middle. If you have an odd number of players, they add a third team, and that's we'll talk about it. It's one of my favorite things. It's called the Dutch. The Dutch is by himself. There's only one of him. He only wins if the team's tied.
Yeah.
We'll come back to Dutch
Right.
because
A major part of the game.
huge. The whole goal, the whole kind of driving, what is everybody working after? It's after these little treasure chests right here. You're trying to get as many treasure chests on your flags as possible. So there's different locations. So each ship has a British and a French flag. Island has a British and a French flag. And then this ship has a British and French. And you're just trying to help your team get the most treasure.
So once you know your team, you know how to vote, you know what you're trying to accomplish, then you're going through a series of events right here that at the bottom of this deck is the Spanish Armada, which kind of is the close. So it's an obvious way that we're going to end the game.
And that's the simplicity of the game. It's just move treasure. And once you hit the Spanish Armada, whoever has the most treasure wins the game.
Let me ask you this question. This game is kind of small. Like the little board is small, and you know all the pieces are kind of small. Do you like that? What do you think of that?
I like anything that I can put in a backpack. However, this is pretty small, especially when you've got, what does this play up to?
Plays up to 9.
9 people around a table, and everyone's like leaning over the table, trying to like, I can't see what I'm looking at. Wow, did you stabilize the table?
I did. Well, no, it's just
Wow.
like heavy duty. Yeah.
This is a different table.
Go,
Sorry about that.
Go
This-
see
this
the build.
table-
Go see the build this table video that Bodie just subtly snuck in.
No, I wasn't even. I was talking about what you set it on.
Oh no,
This is a different
it's
table.
just a big card table.
It feels steadier. I don't know.
Okay, back to where we were at. This one's hard. So I love their little box. You know, like it's got that little magnetic thing. This entire game fits in this box. And every time somebody sees it, they're like, that is so cool. That's a really cool thing. So I love this part. And the cards are all fine for me. It's just when I'm playing that big game, I wish this was it feels like something that I would make this big
like we
and
could
have
make a build it bigger.
I'm not going to judge a game completely by its components. You know what I mean? There's really good games that don't have great components, but they play so good. I'm like, I don't care. They're all good components. Tight little box, which I still like.
Man, you came out swinging with a con.
And I like this game so much, and I love the folks that make it. So I hope they don't get upset at me. So
I'll throw a pro in there. We going all over the place here, but
sorry, Eric.
Yeah. Every time. It's such a unique hidden role social deduction. I think Avalon and Secret Hitler, as much as I love Secret Hitler and hate Avalon, they are in the same vein. They feel very similar to the same game.
And that's the only part of the game is social deduction. I feel like this is social deduction, and it's just one piece of the game.
Really, this game plays most like a cooperative. Where I'm like
a team play, like the whole team, and I don't know who's on my team, when I sit down. So that whole team is against this whole team. We've played Dutch quite a bit. I mean, we've had a lot of times where we're at the 9-player max, and at 9 players, you're really nervous. Like, okay, this game is going to bottom out. There's no way that it's going to play. But for me,
it plays the best at 9 players.
Yep.
Or 7 players.
Yeah, Go ahead. I think we're about to say the same thing.
I think it's a pro and con, right? Best part of the game for me is the Dutch.
Yeah.
Worst part of the game for me, when you don't play the Dutch.
Yeah.
And every time it's an even number of players, 2, 4, 6, 8, you can't play with the Dutch.
Because he wants there to be a tie. And you have this risk of one player, he doesn't reveal who he is. He plays like British or he plays like French. And he's playing whoever's losing.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
I love that it's not the classic traitor just stab in the back and hurt them. What it creates is a huge amount of uncertainty on the table of like, that was a very Dutch move. That was a very Dutch move, but it's not like this mean move. It's just like why did you do that?
Yeah, so he can play on the strong team as long as he keeps it close. Mm-hmm. So if he can get in a spot where he can move one treasure at his last move, boom. He wins. And the rest of us are now playing against that one Dutch guy who just showed his powerful position.
And there's nothing we can do against him. That's the beautiful thing. You're hurting people, but no one wants to hurt you. Suddenly their team is losing, and you're the reason why, and they can't do anything against you.
It's tied, and we're almost over.
Yeah,
so
it's so fun.
So the pro for me on this game, another pro. So obviously Dutch is huge pro for me. But I love that rising tension, toward the end. Yeah. You're coming toward the end of that game. And if you don't know who the Dutch is, there's 2 or 3 players that you're not positive, or you're beginning to suspect that there was a British playing like a French, and there was a French playing like a British. You thought you had it all figured out, and then at the end, there's all these reveals of the guy that I thought was on my team isn't the guy, and then all of a sudden the Dutch shows himself. So that last little hand is just no.
It has some really powerful reveals. The same way Secret Hitler has that really cool moment where you vote in the Chancellor, and it's like, we did it, and it's a big reveal. This game has that same thing where suddenly the Dutch in the final move just subverts everybody, and it's a ton of fun. I've gotten some of the biggest reactions out of a table because of this game.
Yeah.
Maybe we've lost you. Maybe you sat there and say, I never play with 9 players. I never play with 5 players.
I'm toast.
If you're still with us, we got a couple more things to talk about.
Another pro for me is it has a lot of interaction as the game is being played. As things are happening here, as events are taking place, there's less happening here, and there's more talking, to the different people that are at the table. So I love the way it interacts the players. You're not just sitting at your little tableau and like, what am I going to do? Head down, not paying attention. You go. Like, I don't care. I just got to concentrate on this. This is one of those games that you're noticing what's going on, but the conversation is here and here and here.
And I think they did a really good job. We're not going to get in depth on these events. I don't even want to show you what they are because I actually think this is best played when you don't know what events are coming. As you play it more, you'll know. But there are just some funny things that happen. And there's some, kind of scratch your head like, wait, what? You can do that? Yeah. And that's some really fun stuff.
The rule book here. We were just looking at this right before we got ready to review it. He does some great stuff here at the end that gives you some options, advanced or optional advanced rule sections, where he basically tunes the game with the way you play the events. So you have some events that are like crazy things. You only put 3 of them in. Then maybe later you put all 8 of them in. Maybe you pull some events. Maybe you shorten this. So he tunes the entire game right here. And I like that because as you get to know it, that's the way you change this game up.
Right, so there's like high chaos events and low chaos events. And probably my favorite way to play this is as high chaos as you can get. Throw in as many crazy events as possible.
Right.
There's a mechanic in here that allows you to check cards and then you know it and later on you can reveal it. You can get rid of that mechanic and play where you just reveal and see what happens. And that's just high chaos. For me, this game plays so well when it's at its most chaotic, it's most crazy, and everybody's second guessing who's on what team. That's what a social deduction hidden role game should do, in my opinion. It should keep people guessing and keep things chaotic.
Yeah, for me, just the right amount of intrigue. Like I'm not totally destroyed. I feel like I have a way to win. This is not a game that you normally run away with. You know that it's 7-2.
You're rarely blowing anybody out of the water.
No, and
Pun intended. Another pro for me is I like that the who's winning and losing is so clear. It's just about these treasure
count.
chests.
Yep.
What makes the tension build so well? Part of it is just that it's so obvious. You're either winning, losing, or tying, and everybody at the board can tell who's where.
You got any cons?
Really, we've mentioned them already. It's that you must have an odd number. For me, I'm not going to play it if I don't have an odd number of players, and I'm not going to play it if I don't have a lot of players.
Yeah.
That is such a niche. I mean, the amount of times that we have more times than we have because we work with large groups of people often, so having 9 is pretty common for us. But I might imagine that a lot of you guys don't have a group of 9 players. I think it could play well at 7 and even at 5. I think with the right group, this could be a lot of fun.
Probably the only con for me is every now and then that player that just really wants to figure everything out, and because it is turn-based, and when you're playing 9 players, it's a long time, before it gets back to your turn. So you want those turns to move right along, and some people kind of get lost in what should I do? And they do have a good way to deal with that, where you can put a timer on them. You can say, okay, if you can't figure it out, you just view 2 event cards, and that's information. It's a good move, but the player that takes their move too seriously takes a long time.
Takes a long time.
So buy, borrow, or bust.
This one I'm kind of conflicted on it, right? For me, this is a buy. I want this on my shelf. I pull it out enough times for it to stay on my shelf. I'm not getting rid of it anytime soon. I just have a hard time recommending it. Like, I think I have a hard time recommending people buy it. So probably my answer to this is, for me, it's a buy, and for everyone else, it's probably a bust. But at the same time, there's probably somebody watching this really does fit your 9 or 7 group that you're bringing together. And if you have that group, it's a must buy.
For me, this is a family. This is a fun family game. This is a fun cousins are over. Like a couple of families, adults and kids can play this one. Really fun. It's a buy, but it only comes out it's only played. I bought it because when the group was right, I pulled that game out. And there have been many times I brought the game with me, and if I would have pulled that game out, it would have been a bust. It just would not have worked.
And I think really what keeps it coming to the table when you have that group of 9 is it has some of the highest of highs. It just has some of the greatest moments in board games for me. And it's sad because you just wish you could experience that all the time, but you're not going to. You're only going to have this experience is only going to work with the right number of people.
Yeah, so it's a buy for me, and Facade Games, they make the 4 different ones. I think I'm taking Bristol 1350 to Thanksgiving tomorrow. And try to play that one. I've only played it once, but they've got some great little advanced features in it. I just played Deadwood
I've
yesterday.
heard about that one.
Yeah,
all the guys have been talking about it. They loved it. I'm so excited to play it.
I really had fun. There was a lot more dice rolling and stuff like that. So, and you've played Trophies. Facade puts out Trophies.
Trophies is such an odd thing because it's not anything like Bristol or Deadwood. Right. But Trophies, man, what a fun group game.
So this game, this company, Facade Games, they were huge on Kickstarter when they did their latest one with Bristol. But I think they put out quality stuff. There you go, from the Game Garage.
I'm going to go put another log on the fire.